Hello and welcome to a product review update. I've not done one of these before, so this is the first one, but I am going to review the gimbal. Now you may want to go and watch the original product review, which is up here, for the gimbal, and you may also wish to have a look at the other product which I'm going to review, and you can see that, which is the Joby, which you can find here. So product update, we're going to do two in one today because they do go together quite well. What I've done is I bought a quick release plate. There's one on the end there which is interchangeable. You shove it in there and then lock it off, and you can basically have it on the Joby, which, as we know, the Joby is quite good because you can put it anywhere, you can wrap it around stuff. But what we're going to look at in action, because I've had this gimbal, this Z1, I took it with me to Thailand for 3 weeks. So we have a practical review that I'm going to give you. Now, I did have a slight problem in the fact that the pan motor here, this section, I think has become, I think I broke it basically. It's broken. But I'm going to have to send it back to Zhiyun in China. I've been in conversation with them by email, and basically they've asked me to send it back, but obviously I use it, so I'm trying to find a good time to actually send it back for them to have a look at, because I think it's actually broken. There's a hell of a lot of play in the head, and you can actually hear it. You probably can't hear it now, but on the actual output video, which I'll show you a clip of, and you can judge your own, make up your own mind on that. Wow. Yeah. Oh, very big. So in terms of practical use, the Z1 is pretty good. I'm very impressed with the final product. It's allowed me personally to do filming on my own by holding the camera. We're just waiting for the train to come now. It's come down from over there. Now we're waiting here. And what's in those? Empty.
It's empty now.
And of course, as we all know, I'm very, very shaky. So normally the output would be rubbish. But this, the gimbal, has been a godsend. I actually think it's well worth the 200 quid I paid for it. Really, I would probably buy another one because I think it's so good. There's a couple of downsides to this gimbal. One is the power switch, which is just here. It's right next to the joystick, and sometimes when you're moving the joystick you can accidentally have your hand over the on-off switch, and obviously the gimbal will turn off. The other time that you can accidentally hit the switch is when you pass it to somebody. So you pass it to somebody and then they hold it like that, and then of course then they knock the switch. The GoPro and the gimbal have worked perfectly well, except on several occasions when something has crashed. I'm not sure what. I think it's probably the camera. Well, the camera has crashed and basically will not turn off. It will not record. it will not do anything. So you then have to take it out of the gimbal, take out the battery on the GoPro and put it back in, and then it seems to work fine. This function here with the cable, which you can just about see on the side there, it connects into the gimbal and it charges the GoPro, which is really useful. However, I did find that the function that you have with the GoPro, whereby you can press the red button on top, even when it's turned off, you can have it so that when you press the button it will start up and it will record, and then when you press it again it will turn the GoPro off. That's a useful thing to have, but it doesn't work with the battery cable plugged in. Now, I only found that out by accident really, because I had the cable out and I hit the button and it worked, and I thought, oh right, okay, that's really useful. There is a socket on the side there which is for video. It's a standard 3.5 jack, I believe, but you could have an external monitor. When you use your cable, you have two, the Z1 comes with two cables, two very similar. They both plug into the USB socket. One has video attached to it. Now what you will find is if you use the wrong cable, then you will get no video on the back of your GoPro, which is a bit annoying when you want to configure it. So you end up having to take out the cable. If you had a monitor, then you'd have to find a way of attaching the monitor somehow onto the gimbal. What I've done for my scooter is I've come up with a concoction, which I'll show you. This concoction, I have a bracket. The actual bracket goes on the arm of the scooter, and then this concoction will slot into the actual bracket. Now the beauty of this, if you ignore this arm, which is for future use, I'm going to try and put the external microphone. I'm going to be using Bluetooth connector for the connector, because I have found that the GoPro cable, which is £20, which I did buy, if you plug it into the GoPro, it sticks out about 3 or 4 inches from the side of the GoPro, and what will happen is it will actually unbalance the gimbal. So you have the GoPro with the cable sticking out the side. The cable, if it was thinner, if it was like this cable, I don't know if you can see that, but it's very thin. If it was like that, then it would be absolutely marvellous. Back to my concoction. On top here, so we have our gimbal going on to the screw thread. This thing here can turn. Now I do wish that it wouldn't make that noise, but I'm not sure how to stop it, because I think it's part of the actual device. I bought this in various parts. So there was a connector, a GoPro type connector, which is the rotating device. There was the bar for the microphone, and then the very bottom bit, which is the connector onto the scooter. It allows me to have my gimbal on the scooter and not worry about having to turn the gimbal. I can just turn it on here, rather than because otherwise you'd have to take the gimbal off to be able to turn it round. So the gimbal is really good for good quality smooth shots, and I'm very pleased with it. The downside again is the joystick button is not very good. It's actually very wishy-washy. You don't know if you've pressed it or not. It does click, but as you're pushing it, it tends to move as well. And I really think that they should have a separate button for turning the gimbal on and off, because there's a two-stage process. You turn on the power, which gives you the blue light, and then you have to activate the gimbal. So if I put the gimbal in a weird position, you can see it when it activates. So you have to hold the joystick button in, and then it activates the gimbal, which then gives you the smooth shot. But this is a really good device, and it's well worth 200 quid. But you will find that if you want service, then it's going to have to go back to China, which is the downside. They haven't got any UK suppliers here that can service it for you, and obviously then you have to post it by airmail. And as I say, this product is really good for connecting, so you can have it onto, if you put this adapter plate, which is a Manfrotto clone. It's not a Manfrotto because they're very, very expensive, but the quick release plate is in the Manfrotto style, which I also have one of those on my B3, on my Manfrotto B3 tripod, and I have the connector plate on my EOS, which is on the one I'm recording on now. So I can use the B3 or I can use the Joby for both cameras, which is really useful. So that's basically an update, and as I say, it's going to have to go back to China now, so I'm going to have to post it off to get repaired or replaced. But I'm not sure what they will do, but I'm hoping that it will come back and it will be perfect again. And I know it probably was my own fault, but you know, there's not a lot I can do about that. It was accident. Hope you've enjoyed this product update. Do come back again for another one very soon, and thank you for watching. Thank you and goodbye.